guys, what's going on? This is Catman227 here, and I'm back with episode 2 of Dead by Daylight Killer Tutorial. Alright, so today we're finally going over the Trapper, okay? I was going to do him in the first episode, but I wasn't sure how to approach him. But I think now I kind of got the hang of it. I do kind of fuck up the button prompts. Like, you'll see me kind of fuck up placing the traps and kind of screw up a little bit because I'm not used to playing him. So obviously I haven't memorized all the buttons for all the actions that you can do. But I manage. But anyway, okay, so the first thing that I'm going to have to talk about is the elephant in the room, the traps, which he revolves around. So everything else is kind of basic. You just walk around the map, you look for people, you lunge, you do the normal stuff like this. I do end up missing that, but you deal with the lag spikes, whatever, which you'll see me miss a couple and get all turned around and fucked up, but that's just Dead by Daylight servers. I can't really help the lag spikes. But anyway, when it comes to your trap placements, those are the things that you're going to want to get correctly, because you get one trap that you can pick up and carry around. So you'll have like a shitload of them, like just of unset bear traps that you can run around the map. You can set them, and then whoever steps in it, they get trapped. And I think they have a 25% chance to free themselves. So they have to do like an escape attempt. And I think they hold like R1, or is it R1? I think it's R1. They hold R1, and then it gives them like a button prompt, and they can escape, or they can attempt to escape. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it'll fail, and they just have to keep, escape attempt, escape attempt, escape attempt, until either somebody comes and frees them, or they free themselves by just a 25% chance to get out. But, that aside, you can trap yourself in your own bear traps, so be very cautious whenever you're doing that. You can see them, as you can probably tell from this video. You'll be able to see where they are at all times. You can see like a red highlight of where your traps are. Now, if you want to be a bitch as Trapper, and you want to make people rage quit, which I do in this lobby right here, is you need to have proper trap placement. So obviously the pallets are the main thing. So pallet dropping is huge in this game, and the way that you can deny mobility of survivors being able to pallet drop you is by putting a trap next to the pallet. So when you're chasing them, they either A, step in the trap and get stuck, and then you can kill them while they're trapped, or because I see right here, like what I just did, is you put the trap right there, but you only get one, so you can only do that. You actually have to run around, pick one up, then replace it somewhere else, and then you have to go back, pick up another one, move it to where you want it. But you will have random ones scattered along the map that you can just set as you walk around, and then sometimes they'll get stuck. But the way that you make people rage quit in this game is you place your traps in the most bullshit spots, next to generators, next to hooks, but you gotta be like a little smart about it, because obviously they can coordinate, like if they're in a group or something. So what you'd want to do is kind of preemptively place your traps next to generators, or instead of like taking a survivor and hooking them and then placing a trap, place the trap by the hook first, then go put somebody by that same hook. That's a better way of doing it. You can also put them on staircases, so like on the basement, you can probably put one on the staircase to the basement. So if anybody tries to go in the basement to save their buddy, they'll get stuck there. But instead of putting it where the hook is, put it on the stairs, that way they can't communicate, so they don't know that there's a trap there. You could don't put it at the base of the stairs, and don't put it at the top of the stairs. Put it more in the middle of the stairs. Now, if you're going to place a trap next to a pallet, you need to be very careful where you put your placement, because if you put it too far, they can go around it. If you place it too close, they can pallet drop on top of it, then they can just slide over the pallet and go right over the trap. vaults. The vaulting, like if you can vault over a window or maybe over something, like just any kind of area you can vault over. Don't put it like right up on it. Kind of put it like a small distance away from wherever they're going to be vaulting, because they're going to run immediately after they vault over something. Or let's say somebody's in a locker. Okay, you can possibly put a trap on the locker, so if they try to get out, they get stuck in the trap, and then you can kill them. Because even if they're at full health, getting trapped will instantly put them into second state. So if they get trapped and then somebody frees them or they free themselves, all you have to do is hit them once and they go down, and then you can hook them. Which you'll see that in this video clip as well. But trap placements are absolutely key. So you can just do what I'm doing in this game, for instance, and that's just, putting them in very specific spots every once in a while. But for the most part, I just kind of set them right where they are in the hopes that somebody will come and get them. Because you have to be careful on how much time that you take, because it takes quite a bit of time to place down all your traps in all those areas. And while you're placing your traps, they're doing generators, and they're going to gen rush you. So obviously you want to put your traps next to places where you're going to be chasing them. You don't really want to put them next to generators all that much, because sometimes it can work, and you can sometimes get a free kill out of it, and it's really cheeky and it pisses them off. But the most efficient way that I have seen and that I have experienced is you kind of want to put them in areas where it's kind of like a tight space, like a small hallway, or maybe like right here, somewhere where I'm walking right now. You could put them in those little walkways, somewhere where there's tall grass, like that window right there that I'm passing by. You can possibly, that's a vault location, so you could possibly put one, semi far away from the wall. That way when they vault over it, they walk like 2 steps and then get stuck in the trap. But I have to stress very, very, very much, when you place down your traps as trapper next to a pallet, you need to make sure it's in the right spot. Because right here, he pallet drops me right here. Now, you want to put it, you need to like kind of just watch where you're putting your traps, because like I said, they can pallet drop and just slide right over your trap if you do it wrong. So it just takes practice. It's not really something that I can see right here. This is what I was talking about. How, he's in full health and then he gets trapped and then you instant down him. So yeah, pick him up, put him on the hook. Now, what you could do, I don't do this here, but if you stick somebody on the hook, now imagine if there was a trap right there. Imagine if I put a trap at that hook before I hooked him there. What you don't want to do is hook them and then put the trap, because then if they're in a party, they can just say, hey, there's a trap by me right now, be careful. Because the survivors, if they have a toolbox, they can sabotage your hook and break it. Or not your hook, but your trap. Survivors can break your traps. And you can get stuck in your own trap. I don't remember if I mentioned that or not. I think I mentioned that already, but just to mention it again, you can get stuck in your own traps, which it takes about the same amount of time to get out of your traps as a survivor. I personally think it's dumb. I don't think the killer should be allowed to be in his own trap, but it happens. So, but I don't know. Any areas that you think there's going to be a lot of traffic, or maybe even a place you could chase, you just have to be aware where you put it, because obviously I just vaulted over that window. So if I had put a trap there to catch a survivor as they vaulted, I could have trapped myself and he could have got away. So you do have to be extremely careful. He's probably the easiest killer in the game, but he's also the hardest, because you have to do a lot of planning. You have to plan ahead. You have to think, okay, there's a hook here, let me put this here. There's a vault location here. That Bill, he just vaulted over, that little white fence right there, I could have put one right there, like right in between that vault area and the pallet that he ran past. So, and then I could have, potentially gotten 2 people with that, because I could have put one on either side. Because obviously there were 2 people there. The other one ran away. I think I was the Meg. But you can even, if let's say you're on like farm or something, and there's a lot of grass, and you find the hatch, you could actually hide the trap next to the hatch and potentially stop someone from going through it. I've seen people do that a couple of times as well. It's a really, really good strategy for your traps. Tall grass is probably like your best friend, and staircases. Even something like this, you can put one right there in that hole, that I just dropped down. You jump through the hole, you stick it right there. See little hallways like this. Little hallways kind of like down in these basement type areas, or maybe even in this schoolyard right here. There's a lot of traffic. There's a lot of people coming through these small hallways. Put one right in smack dab in the middle of the hallway. Deny access to that area. Or the staircase I just ran down. Put it right in the middle of the staircase. So, you can do that as well. So, I just wouldn't put it by generators. Like, generators are just not something I would particularly like to put it next to. Like, I put this one here, but I think I end up moving it at some point. I don't know if I do that here, but yeah, I do. I pick it up, and then I move it right here. I do fuck up the button prompt. I accidentally melee instead, because I'm still learning the buttons. But, you put it down in the grass where it's hard to see. And they can't just set it off. Now, that's really about it when it comes to his traps. But you could also probably put one by the exit door. I never even thought about that. But like, if you, let's say you have, because right now I'm running No One Escapes Death. So when the doors are open, I can start instant downing people. But let's just say they open up the doors, like, instead of just letting them open the door and escaping, and then I can instant down them, you can put a trap right by the door. So if they try to open it, it sets off. Or they have to spend the time to break the trap first, which makes it take a little bit longer, so you have more time to get there before they open the door. Because it already takes a shitload of time to sit there and hold that lever down so you can open up the door. But if there's a trap there, then you can place one, and then whenever they go to open it, they're either going to get stuck and have to do the escape attempts, or they have to sabotage it. And if they don't have a toolbox, I don't think they can sabotage it. I could be wrong, I'm not entirely sure, but I do know there's a lot of things that can counter, like almost everything in the entire game can counter a trapper. Like maps. Let's say you have a map. If a survivor has a map, then it can actually, like, the survivor can actually see where all of your traps are. So, you do have to be aware of that, and there's a lot of like sabotaging and stuff like that. So obviously, you don't want your traps to be sabotaged. So you can kind of prepare for that by hiding them. You hide them in areas where it's hard to get to. So even if they know where it is, they still have to avoid that area. But if they're in the heat of a chase, they're not going to remember exactly where your traps are. They're just going to be focused on running away from you. So even if they know where all of your traps are, they'll probably still set it off at one point. But you really have to be careful, because obviously Trapper has to run around the map, move his traps where he wants them, and set them. And that takes a lot of time to do. And while you're doing that, you're just getting gen rushed. So it's really difficult to play Trapper like this. So just kind of be aware of that. And since there are so many things that can counter him, you really need to be careful. Now, these are the perks. I'm just going to flash these on screen so you guys can pause the video and read what they do. But I do try to run all of their perks just so you guys can see what they do and how it works. And then I just kind of throw on whatever other thing I think I need, which I think No One Escapes Death fits in perfectly. But if you guys have enjoyed, like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know which killer you want me to do next. And I will see you guys next time. Later!